We have a countdown in 3, 2, 1. What is up, Mr. Carlos Cervantes? I said that correctly, right?
That's right.
All right. Yeah. I speak Spanish. You guys are full of it. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How's it going?
So I'm doing very well. We're here Saturday. Here talking about mariachi in the Phoenix Valley area. So,
very big.
As I understand it, and for folks listening in, this is Carlos Cervantes. Family has been kind of in Phoenix for a long time playing mariachi music. And Miguel, our usual podcast member, is out this weekend. He's got some things to do. So Carlos was good enough to come and talk about Phoenix mariachi, because me and Miguel have been talking a lot of shite about the Phoenix greater area, being that we're both from Tucson.
Yeah.
So we're both spoiled little brats. We both went to Pueblo High School. So we have a very, I would say, spoiled upbringing of mariachi.
Yeah, mariachis left and right.
Yeah,
turn the corner, there's a group right there.
There's a group to join. Yeah. There's a great teacher. There's a conference every year. So I guess we wanted to start out on talking about what is the Phoenix history. Like, I don't know if you know, like, everything in Phoenix or how it got started.
I can probably tell you most of the Phoenix history. I grew up with all the old school mariachis, traditional guys that have been playing since they came from Nogales all the way to Tucson with my dad. He knows most of them, and all came up to Phoenix. So I played with all those guys. Unfortunately, most of them are in their age where they can't play anymore, and or not here anymore. Right. So
passed away.
Yeah,
that's happening a lot.
Yeah, and recently in the past few years, man, we've lost a lot of old school mariachi old timers that have been here for ever, man, 40, 50 years. You know, my dad's been here for I think 45 years. It's been here for a long time. So the history in mariachi here in Phoenix is huge. Like I said, unfortunately, you get the newer generations that don't know a lot of it. So it's good to know it. You know what I mean? And then now everyone's coming over here from Tucson, California, because the city's growing. Yes. So, but there's not a lot of people don't really
the foundation.
Yeah, they don't know the foundation, which is okay. I mean, you learn it. You learn it. So
there's got to be someone around to teach it.
Yeah, and you don't get a lot of that because either the old guys that have been here don't really want to teach it, or the new generation don't take the time to talk to those guys and learn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. So from my outsider's perspective, I've been here about a year. When I first started moving to Phoenix, I asked around. I was like, hey, we're moving. We're leaving Tucson. What is the scene up there like? And everybody is giving me the same, like, cringy, like, it's really bad, bro. You're gonna be for a rude awakening. And he's like, it's gonna suck.
There's a lot of predators, man. They're all, it's weird, man. It's so funny. Like, in Tucson, I know everyone gets along, and that's great, because I've been out there a few times recently to go see Cuco de Seed's family. I see a lot of the guys. Everyone gets along, man. Everyone knows each other. Everyone gets along. Probably because Tucson's a little smaller.
It's very small.
Yeah, but there's tons of mariachis, and the cool thing is that everyone gets along. You know what I mean? For the most part.
Even if people don't get along,
they don't show.
They don't. Yeah, they're not.
They're respectful.
They're respectful. They're cordial. They may talk shit about one another behind closed doors, but like in view of the public, everybody seems to be very amiable.
Yeah,
and most of it is true. Most of it is genuine. Like, hey, let's have some respect for everybody else. You know, not forcibly, but just because you don't want to look like a piece of shit yourself in front of everybody else. Because it is a small city. So if you're that guy who's constantly like,
yeah, you're just poking at people like, hey, you know what I mean? You don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be that guy. It doesn't matter if you're a great player. Most great players don't act like that.
They don't act like it, yeah.
And if you are a great player who acts like that, I mean, eventually people will just look at you as like a side piece. It's like, I really don't want that guy in my group, so we'll just use him whenever. Yeah, or they just literally stop paying attention to you like you don't exist. Yeah, and there's mariachis out here that are like that, and they've literally hit rock bottom because they've gotten to the place where, not because they don't like you because you're good, you've gotten to the point where they don't like you because you're not respectful, and they can't really get along with you because you're arrogance or whatever it is. You know what I mean? So they kind of just push you aside because they don't have time for that. Their point is to play mariachi music, love what they do, and get paid for it. Get paid for it.
You know what I mean? And we get paid. We get paid pretty generous for what we do. I mean, we practice a lot. We definitely deserve what we get, but we also love it. So it's okay. You know what I mean?
And so your dad ran a mariachi group here. So you guys have like a named group in Phoenix?
Yeah, well, my dad did.
Okay.
I used to play with my dad. I started practicing when I was 5. And I started playing literally in the mariachi group when I was 9. So I was playing, man, I'm not even kidding. I was probably playing about maybe 12 hours a week and probably about 6 hours a Saturday. So I was playing pretty good at 9 years old.
Pretty dope at 9 years old.
Yeah, my dad literally just threw me out there, man. He was just like sink or swim, you know what I mean? And so that's why I learned forcibly a lot of the stuff that most guys don't know, because I was thrown to the wolves when I was 9 years old, man. And trust me, I had mariachi tell me, hey, man, you need to learn this. Hey, you need to learn this. You've been playing for a year now with us. You need to learn. So that kind of forced me to learn more things and get better and better.
Practicing.
Yeah,
always practicing your violin.
Yeah, so my dad...
And you play violin mostly, or is that your main instrument?
That's my main instrument. My dad did teach me vihuela and guitarra.
Nice.
But I don't... I can grab it, and I can probably do a couple hours if they're not asking for anything crazy, the basics. But as far as me saying, oh, yeah, I can play it now. I mean, I play with it. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't actually play.
We all find an instrument that's like our main, like... I look at it for me, like... Because I play all the armonia instruments, right? But for me, like, the guitar is the one that I most love. It's like my wife, right?
Yeah.
The guitar is like the wife. The vihuela is like the side piece. Yeah. You know what I mean? I really like the vihuela. It gives me what I need when I need it, right? And
it's fun to play, too.
It's fun to play, right? It does things that your guitar won't.
Yeah. But if you can play guitar, man, and play it well...
Yeah, it's
you
nice.
You can play any harmonic instrument, man.
That's pretty much the start of it. Yeah, because I started the guitar. Well, I actually started violin around the same age as you. I was about 9 years old in 4th grade and started playing violin. And I didn't love it. I thought it was kind of nerdy, and I was like, this is not for me, right? I couldn't really get into it. My mom wanted me to be like a classical violinist.
Yeah.
And then some of my family wanted to be like a fiddle player, right? And I was like, well, this is really cool, but okay. Then I went to trumpet. And I was like, I don't like that either. This is killing my lips. I don't even love the sound of the trumpet, honestly. I have respect for it in mariachi music and for jazz and classical, but for me personally, I'm like, I'm not digging it. And then I had always been playing the guitar alongside, not in school, but just playing the guitar alongside. And so when there was a chance to join a mariachi group for guitar, it was like, that was it.
That was it, yeah.
And then that's been the last 17 years.
Yeah.
Damn. 17 years.
When you look back at it, people are like, "Yo, you've been playing mariachi." I'm like, I've been playing mariachi for pretty much all my life.
Pretty much ever.
And I never say I've been playing. I always say I've been practicing since I was 5.
Been practicing.
Yeah, I've been practicing since I was 5. But yeah, man, I used to hate the violin because I couldn't get it. I used to love the vihuela. I wanted to play the vihuela, and my dad was like, "No, man, you're playing the violin.
We need you in violin."
Yeah, well, because he was playing.
Yeah,
that's what he told me. That's exactly what he told me. He's like, "There's plenty of people playing, vihuela and guitar and all that. If you want to learn it, great. But your main instrument's going to be the violin." And I hated it, man.
Dang.
I couldn't learn it. I couldn't get it. I got a little better.
It's a nice structure.
Yeah.
Forces you to. Some people are forced like that. Like I think if I had children and they came to me and said, "Dad, we want to start playing," I'm like, "You guys are asking for it because
you're gonna be in for it."
Every time I don't hear music in the house, I'm gonna be like that stupid movie Selena. The father.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't hear any music.
Yeah. 1 hour I'll play it, 1 hour outside.
1 hour in here, 1 hour there. It's like I don't hear any music.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be just like that.
Oh, that's how my dad was. We had no choice no matter what. So it was fun. We hated it, and like I said, as I got better, I started liking it. Now I love it. I'll go for free if I could.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell anybody that.
I know, right? We just told everybody on the PlayMariachi Podcast. Yeah. That's part of the thing about Phoenix is that, and it's interesting to me because in Tucson you have a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So to get publicity, you often find groups that will do things for damn near free, or like $100 for the whole hour for the whole group, and it's like, well, how many people are going to be at the venue? Is it like a 4th Street festival? Is it a church? And it's like, okay, if we do well for these free gigs, we're going to probably, net 3 or 4 or 5 new clients that are going to hire us throughout the year, which will net, another couple of gigs, right? And mostly of the time, the best stuff you play is going to be at those occasions. Those free concerts, those free things, or you're only getting a couple $100 for the whole group. And it's like, how does that factor into the economy here in Phoenix? Because the guys that I've seen in Phoenix, they get paid to show up and perform. It's about $50 an hour, which is a kind of standard rate for a working guy or girl. But like, how do you measure the variance of like quality of a group, right? Because a better group should get maybe a little more asking price, but 5 guys that show up in various looking costumes and suits or not, and can barely play anything, they still get paid the same.
That's the thing about Phoenix, man. It's gotten so it's gotten to the point where there's not really any more tradition and culture behind it. Back in the day, all the guys that there was this a lot of people from Tucson probably don't know this, but a lot of the old school Phoenix mariachi players, there's this group called Alma Jalisciense, and it literally had the best players in Phoenix. I'm not even kidding, man. I have pictures of when my dad used to play with them, and these guys are like young, man. They're like in their 20s, early 30s, and they look fantastic, and they all played well. If you were to talk to my mom or some of my aunts, or some of just the people that have been here for forever,
right.
And they look at this mariachi called Alma Jalisciense, and you had all the old school guys in there, and they played amazing, man. Anything you asked them for, they would play it. And they play it sounded like the freaking CD, man. It sounded like Javier Solis's CD, Jose Alfredo Jimenez CDs, the early Vicente CDs sounded just like them because they practiced well, they played well, and they all sang well. All of them sang well.
Kind of like how you see Nuevo in Mexico. When Nuevo was playing in like Guadalajara, they're not playing all their fancy show tunes, but when they play something, just a simple ranchera, like Cuatro Vientos or something like that, it's bomb.
Sounds amazing.
It's bomb.
You know who I like? That plays like that is Camperos, man.
Yeah.
They play very traditional, and they play exactly what mariachis probably sounded like back in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They just blast sound right into your
face. They don't change it. They leave it very traditional. And Pepe Martinez used to always say that. He's like, I like keeping mariachi traditional. So you heard a lot of his music. All of Vargas back in the early recordings, it was all traditional. Even to now, I mean, they've changed it a little bit. Yeah. But before, when Pepe was around,
the nephew, I like the nephew. His nephew, the guy who's running the group now. Yeah, he has that traditional flair. Yeah. But he understands part writing at a very high level, and so it sounds contemporary, but the basis of everything is still very traditional. And I'm like, that reminds me of Cobre. Yeah, Mariachi used to do the same and still does do the same thing.
You don't see them around anymore, man. It's sad.
I know they don't do recordings.
No.
I know that they do a lot of travel as much as they can. From what I understand, the big thing about Mariachi Cobre is that they're tied to that gig, right?
Oh, yeah.
In Florida.
In Florida, yep.
And it's very challenging for them. Like, even when they want to do something, even if they want to do it for, almost nothing, they have to negotiate. It's like your boss, right?
Yeah.
It's like if I want to go teach at a conference, I have to negotiate with my boss and say, hey, I'm going to be gone for a week. And it's like, what are you going to be doing for a
and
week?
They're most likely under contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if they're trying to be like, you know what, should we leave? Should we not? You know what I mean? Because then you get into trouble.
There's always negotiations going on with any major corporation like that, because a corporation like Disney who has talent, I think that's what the Mariachi Cobre there is classified as Disney talent, right? So they can't just say, well, we're going to take this, we're going to take that. I'm sure that there's hundreds of other groups that are just waiting.
Oh yeah,
waiting
for that foot in.
For Disney to just be like, and this is very sad. This is like a landmark staple is Mariachi Cobre at Epcot Center. But if you get some sort of executive or some person who doesn't know the culture, I see this in Hollywood now with movies that I love, like Star Wars, right? They don't understand the Star Wars, culture and everything behind it. So they bring in people that are cheap, and it's like, okay, well, here's a script, here's a budget, execute.
Same thing as mariachi.
And it's the same thing as mariachi, and it's the same thing in Phoenix. It's like, whoever's the cheapest, we'll bring them in. One sound is as good as another. And it's like, well, oh, great, that was really nice. Thanks a lot. Here's your $500. And you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
That's the thing, man. And a lot of these guys, and the sad part is a lot of these guys, they're really good mariachi, but the thing is they depend solely on mariachi music. So they'll do it whenever they can, as much as they can. You know what I mean? So they're taking all that, and it's instead of getting a really good, solid one big group, maybe 7-8 guys.
Yeah, and that's a big group for Phoenix.
Yeah, and for Phoenix, that's a big group.
That's a small group for Tucson.
Because everybody here in Phoenix is doing 5 guys because they get faster jobs.
Yeah,
they in some groups, there's some groups that only have 4 guys. They do 4 and 5 only because they're more guaranteed to get hired and to get jobs because that's what they rely on. They rely on that income. And that's what's kind of killing it. I mean, I get it. I'm not.
They gotta feed.
Yeah, I'm not knocking it because they need to feed their family.
There's this phrase that no como de arte.
Yeah,
that's true. And if it's all you do, if you don't have a skill set outside of playing music, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, and there's other groups like us or like me. Like I've been wanting to get into. Even if I've been wanting to start a group.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I've been wanting to start a group. But the thing is, because all these guys depend on it. They want guaranteed work all the time. They want at least 5-6 hours a Saturday. I'm like, you know what, man? I don't need it that bad. I want to start a group because I love it and I want to do it.
Right.
And even if I don't start a group myself, I'll join a group.
You just want to be surrounded by people.
That love it.
That love the music.
Yeah.
Would do it for free, but will gladly get paid.
Yeah, for sure.
To do what they love to do.
Yeah, that's the problem.
It's like when I go to a gig like that, I got called yesterday sometimes. Sometimes from the same couple of people in Phoenix, and I'm like, you know what? It could be an easy couple $100, but I'm going to have to feel like shit, like going out there, right? Because we're going to play. It's going to be haphazard. It's going to be work.
Yeah.
Like I just got out of work for 9 hours, and now I got to go do more, and it's fucking hot outside in Phoenix too, and it's like, how much do I really want that extra couple $100? Do I have anything that I want to buy right now? Or do I want to go home and do my homework, see my wife? It's like, nah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I really don't, which is nice.
Yeah, it's real nice.
It's nice to have that prerogative, which is kind of the give and take. If you have a group like the one you're talking about, you have to be committed regardless. So, like, if we have gigs, regular work, right, you have to be like, okay, I don't have the option to say, well, I don't really want to get paid. Like, I'm committed to the guys. I got to show up. I got to be there, right? And that's tough.
That is tough.
That's really tough. Even if guys have opportunity to go play like 5-6 hours with some other group, it's like, well, this group like is really together, really solid. They only have 4 or 5 hours. But this shittier group that's
calling for 8 hours.
It's like, which one do I take? And it's like, you know what, man? If you have to go between that decision, then you're just not right for the other group.
No.
You're not right. Go, like I've told Miguel, it's like, if you want to go play and work at something that's artful and meaningful, then that's good. If you want to just get paid, then just go play gigs in Avondale.
Yeah.
That's all. That's what I'm saying.
I tell people that all the time. I tell them, like, oh, who are you playing with? And like, you know what? I go, right now I'm not really playing with anybody because a lot of the groups that are, and not to criticize them, but a lot of they're not organized.
Show up late.
Yeah, they show up late all the time. And there's some groups that call me, and I'm there like 10 minutes early.
Yeah.
And they show up 10 minutes after we're supposed to start. And I'm like, and then on top of that, it's like 8 o'clock at night, and then we end up finishing like at 10:30 instead of 10 o'clock. So I'm having to go home at 11 o'clock. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is I don't want to do this. You know what I mean?
Bullshit.
Yeah. And that's not my thing. I want to show up and it's a nice group, well organized, and we're there on time. No matter what, we finish on time because that's what we.
Everybody cares.
Yeah.
Unless you got pulled over by a cop.
It happens.
If there was poor planning, it's like, fuck, I'm sorry, guys, I messed this up. I booked us too close together. I was being a little greedy, right?
I've done that. Speaking of that, I've done that to Miguel, man. To Miguel, he called me for a gig one time, and I told him because we were collaborating. He's like, "Hey, dude, we'll start a group, blah blah." This was about a year ago. He's like, "Start a group," and I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." So he's like, "Oh, hey, I got a job this Saturday coming up." So I'm like, "Yeah, cool, man." But the thing is, that day at work, they were like, "Hey, can you come in at 2 in the morning?" I was like, "Damn," because it was during the holidays. I was like, "Yeah, I'll go in at 2." I went in at 2. My typical time is 5, so I go in at 2 in the morning. And I get out at 10:30 and I go home. I'm like, dude, I'm exhausted, man. And I'm like, I'm going to take a quick nap.
You fell asleep?
I fell asleep. And Miguel calls me like 5 minutes before we start. He's like, hey, man, where you at? And I look at the time. And I'm like, dude, I go, I'm asleep. I go, sorry, man. And he's like, are you kidding me? And I go, this is, you know what I mean? After we're literally trying to start the group. And then I just fall asleep on the first gig. So,
epic.
But like you said, it happens.
It's an epic oops.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a fuck up. That's
for damn sure. And he didn't talk to me for like 2 weeks, man, for sure. I'm like, I didn't know on purpose, man. At least I told you, I could have just ignored your call or something.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. When I was in college, when I was about maybe 21, 22, I wanted to start a group with a couple of people, right? And there's this kind of thing about, I think everybody wants a leader to follow in Tucson. And maybe here too, everybody wants a leader to follow, and they want someone to write them the music but they want to piss and moan about the music that gets written for them or selected. But
I don't like that already.
I don't like that one. Well, it's like, well, which one do you want? I don't know, just pick one. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I just did.
Do you want me to do this, or do you want to do this? It's like, and so it can be very aggravating, right? right? And even to get a group of awesome people, say like a group of what you would call like A-listers together in one setting, you get this, what I've seen sometimes, mostly with the girls, but sometimes with the guys, you get guys that start getting like ego and animosity against one another. I don't ever get that, because I played sports teams when I was in high school, and it's like when you're in a team, like you don't fight with each other like that, because the team is the thing that wins, not you, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no coach in a mariachi group. There's just a person who's organizing, taking the gigs, dealing with the taxes and the government, dealing with clients, picking the songs, setting all this shit up that he doesn't get paid for, by the way. He doesn't take extra cash to do all this extra work. Yeah. It's tiring and frustrating. But yet, he's got to take all the slack. Now, for me, that's kind of the definition of being a leader. But it's like, what do you do? So if you don't like someone, how they lead things, it's like, well, are you going to lead it? It's like, well, no. It's like, okay, well, now I have a choice. I can either try to work with you, and you're being very difficult, or you can just seek life elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And then making that ultimatum now puts the leader in a spot, because now I have to cover a spot. So it's never-ending stress when you're running a group.
Oh, yeah.
So one thing that a mentor told me when I was getting this idea, he was explaining all this to me. He's like, you really want to do this, man? I mean, you're young. You didn't finish your music degree. You're not a famous composer. You're not a great singer. Who's going to follow you? And more so, do you have a planta? Is there a place where you can say every weekend, maybe Friday or Saturday, one or the other or both, we're going to be steady work? Because that's the only thing that you're only going to attract bees with honey.
Yeah.
You ain't going to...
Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. It only works that way. And it doesn't work any other way. And people can say, oh, I love the art, I love the music. After a while, that music isn't keeping your belly full, right?
Yeah.
It's not paying for the gas that it took you to get here. So you have to have something that's lucrative. And I think if you want to compete, not just lucrative, but like fun, right? Because there's plantas here in Phoenix that I've played at that are okay, but they're... How do you see like restaurants and steady gigs in Phoenix? Like
honestly, man, I've been, like I said, I've seen them all, played them all. I mean, I've met tons of mariachis here in Phoenix from all over that have been moved here, and I can honestly say I don't like plantas. I don't like them because you get a lot of situations that either make you uncomfortable, and to the point where you're like, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah, and it's not even the group. It's just the venue. It's the venue. You're like, damn, I don't even want to be here anymore. Yeah. And I used to play at La Perla over on 59th and Glendale, and they've been there for, man, like 70 years. They've been there for a long time. And my brother played at that restaurant for like 30 years.
Wow.
He's been there for a long time, and I played with him for just a few years. And just the people that would go into the restaurant, because it's in a pretty bad location. It's in downtown Glendale.
Yeah,
but it was like I said, the restaurant was nice. Everything was great. But just the people, the people that would go in and just cause problems or whatever. It just like, man, and to the point where I'm like, dude, I don't want to go there anymore. Like I don't want to. I want to be part of the group. And I even told him, like, dude, I don't want to come here anymore, man. I kind of hope that they just don't bring you here. I know it sounds bad, but as far as plantas, I'm not a big fan of it, but they are necessary. Yeah. And there's a lot of times you have to do a lot of stuff that you don't want to do, but it's necessary for the group.
Play music that you don't want to play.
Yeah, there's like there's certain songs that I cannot stand to play, but you know what? People ask for it, and you got to play it.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with plantas. I like them; they're okay, but like you said, it'd be nice to play at a place where it's really fun. It's a good ambiance, good environment, good crowd.
Yeah,
would be a lot of fun. And people get involved.
Yeah,
but you don't get that a lot here.
No, you get a lot of people that treat you like you're a waitstaff or something, or even worse. And that's one thing in Tucson for the plantas that I played at in Tucson is the waitstaff and the managers are shit. Like the managers will be, well, I'll cut you a check. They're paisanos. You can tell maybe they're not
looking for the bottom dollar all the
time. Yeah, so I get it, and they look at mariachi as like, well, you're kind of like, I've had to tell people, I was like, let me tell you something, man. You called us here. And, I don't know where the fuck you came from, but you're going to pay us.
Yeah. That's the way it works.
This is the way it works. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm not some fucking immigrant from a third world country, all right? I was born here. You're going to pay us for our time, or we can have a problem, right?
Yeah.
It's gotten to that point.
No, I'll get to that point for sure.
And I've seen some of it a little bit here, too, and it's just like, that alone will kill a planta. Like, that alone will be like, we're done. Or like a maitre d' or a waitstaff. Our instruments are expensive. They were rare to come
that
by,
alone, man.
You know, and I've told a waiter this too. I can be a real shitty guy. Like when I get pissed, Miguel makes fun of me all the time because he says, like, you're such a nice person, man, but, like, when you get pissed off, like, you get this look on your face, and you say, like, the most awful things to people, and you're confrontational.
Well, just don't get you to that point.
Just don't piss off Jason. Yeah. You ever see Jason Friday the 13th? Don't piss off that guy. He's not going to back down from you, you know? But I remember I had bought a brand new Candelas guitar when I was in Changos in high school. Like, I had a job, I worked. I played gigs on the side, which I was not supposed to do.
It happens.
You know, it happens. Sorry, Changos. It was bad. So I had money. And then my family supplemented the rest of the balance to buy my guitar, right? It was for, like, the Changos 40th anniversary. So we were doing tours. We were going to New Mexico, to California. Yeah. And I got a piece of shit. My mom bought it for me. I shouldn't say piece of shit. I'm sorry. But it was not a great guitar. It was basically a box made out of plywood. And it sounded like a box made out of plywood, you know. But my mom didn't know any better, you know. So my poor mom, she's just trying to support.
Hey, right? some moms don't even do anything.
I know. So I have to be very grateful. Yeah. And she bought me the guitar, and I was like, ooh, that's a pine box. Like, oh, thank you so much, Mom. I love you so much. And I had to play this thing. And I'm like, I don't think I wanted this. This is not good. But I bought a brand new Candelas. I graduated from high school. Sorry, Mom. She's probably crying right now. I love you.
She'll be fine.
She'll be fine.
I still have it.
I still have it somewhere. She's used to my not so. I have a really messed up mentality, man. It's awful. You're
smart, man. That's part of the
part of the balance.
Part of the balance. You can't be really smart and not be a little psycho.
Be a little bit of a crazy dick. Yeah, you can't. You have to be both, right?
You gotta be both.
And so I remember I was playing. I think I was playing at what used to be called Las Casolitas in Tucson. And it turned into another restaurant. And we were playing there, and this maitre d' was a real piece of work. And he would come around with a tray sometimes because they get busy. And he's kind of like a head waiter, older. You know, by somehow you can tell he was there and working, doing the best he could. He didn't like the mariachi. Because I think he knew how much we were getting paid to be there. And it was pretty damn close to what he was getting paid to be there the whole night, right?
Yeah.
Because he's making minimum wage plus tips.
So it probably wasn't mariachi. It was probably just the pay.
Yeah, it was probably the pay, yeah. And he's looking at us like we're just, you know, we got a mariachi, you know, whatever.
And you're young.
And I was young.
Yeah.
And so he's coming very close to my, you know, $1,500 Candelas guitar, right? And I bled and sweat for. And I'm casual, normal, right? I'm about 19, 20 years old. He does it again on purpose. And I grabbed his arm, and I said, if you come close to my guitar again, I'm going to beat your ass when I get out of here. I said, this guitar is worth more than you make in a month. So knock off the shit.
You threw salt in his wound.
Yeah, I threw salt right in the wound. And he looked at me like he wanted to fight me. And so I took off the clip for the guitar. I took off the clip for the guitar, and I was about to give it to my friend, and he walked away. And I'm just like, don't fuck with my stuff,
we get people like that all the time here, man. And I think like you mentioned that too in the restaurants. They don't know what we're supposed to get paid because they look at mariachi like, you know what, they're just bringing it in so that they get more revenue, which is understandable.
That's the point.
But you have to see our side too. We're not like norteños. Here in Phoenix, you go to any Mexican restaurant and you see norteños just walk in a minivan. They walk in and they like, hey man, can I play? Yeah. And they don't pay them. They just get paid solely on tips.
Right.
We don't do that.
You know?
If we don't give tips throughout the night, we don't care. I mean, we do care. Be nice. Yes. But for the most part, we want to get paid hourly because that's how we get paid. That's how mariachis get paid. And they've been paid like that since, I don't know when. And Mexico is a little different. But we're not in Mexico.
Yeah, in Mexico, you have a talón.
Yeah.
And you have the gala.
Yeah, you just go out there and walk.
It's just assumed.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And not for nothing, most of those guys.
Yeah. $10 a song. We don't do that here. It's not per song. Yeah. I had some guy that was telling me, he's like, hey man, I want you to play my restaurant. He has 5 restaurants. He said, I want you to play my restaurant. And I'm like, cool man. I go, well, let's set up a day where we can go. I told Miguel about this too. I go, so let's set up a day where we can go and we can play for like an hour just to check it out, you know, just to be out there so they see how your crowd takes it and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, and they go, what time do you want us to go? We'll play from like 2 to 3 or something. He's like, just show up, man. And I'm like, that's not how that works. He said, just show up. And he goes, and I'll just pay you, whatever. And I'm like,
No,
that's not how that works.
Already a red flag.
Yeah, literally, just like that. I'm like, nah, that's not gonna work.
We're gonna show up, and you're not gonna be there, and I'm gonna be looking for somebody, and it's like, hey, thanks a lot, man. And people are shady.
Yeah,
people
and your manager's gonna be like, well, I don't know anything about it, and then we don't get paid, and you know what I mean. That's so
end of group.
Yeah,
end of group right there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, that's. I bring up this topic because there's a budding opportunity with this whole thing and the podcast, and I don't quite know how we're gonna take it. I don't know if it'll be a long-standing thing. I don't know if it'll be, the point of any mariachi or any music group going to any restaurant or any venue is to generate buzz and to bring in more crowds, right? More crowds are coming. They sell more drinks. They sell more food. And the price that they pay for the music to be there far outweighs the revenue that's gained that they wouldn't have gained otherwise. Yeah. Small investment. So it has to work that way, and hopefully it will.
Back in the day, man, now that you actually say that, back in the day, they used to have mariachi competitions here in Phoenix. This is like early 90s.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, and they would have mariachi competitions, and whoever won would get like tons of like publicity and all these contracted gigs and all this other stuff. And back then, man, there wasn't a lot of mariachis. There wasn't a lot of organized mariachi groups, and my brother actually won that competition, Mariachi Aguila.
Oh,
he won it. I think I want to say it was 91 or 92. He won it a long time ago. And there was like 4 or 5 just really good mariachis, and my brother won that. And ever since then, man, he's gotten like tons of publicity, and because they've known him. And that's the one and only mariachi competition that they had back in the day.
So it just set him off down the path?
Ever since then, man, and everybody knows who Mariachi Aguila is because all the old school people that have been here for a long time, old Phoenicians and people that live in Glendale and all that, they know who they are because back then the city wasn't as big as it is now. Now, I mean, it's growing tremendously. Every year you're adding like hundreds of thousands of people. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I hear people from Chicago are moving to Phoenix to do finance work and business, and engineers are moving here. Yeah, the Chandler and Tempe area is starting to really kind of explode with like Windy City people, California people, because they're just tired of paying thousands of dollars a month for shitty housing that they could.
Yeah, you say that. Not everybody wants to be a real estate agent, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Wants to sell homes.
Everybody. All of a sudden, I turn around and all my friends are like, "I'm on a real estate agent." I'm like, "What you doing? Like, weren't you doing something else?"
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, but everyone's buying houses, but you don't get the fact that for every one house, there's probably like 30 people trying to sell it. You know what I mean?
It's a big market, and unless you get in early. Like most people, and people on my YouTube channel, I think there's an older demographic. We had questions about this, like how do you start playing if you're not like 4th grade, 9 years old? It's like it's really hard. It's really hard because we both started and we both come from families that play music. Mm-hmm. My mom's family, they came from Hermosillo, and she was a 2nd generation. My abuelita was a 1st generation, and her father came from Mexico. So we're not.
Yeah, the roots are deep.
Deep.
Deep, so it's not something you just pick up and I want to do this. It's not how that works, man.
No.
My dad's dad, my abuelito in Nayarit, he used to play the big bass. Yeah. And from what I hear, I mean, back in the 40s, like he was really, really good. So he taught himself because he did it, which was ironic. He did it to feed himself and to feed all of his kids, you know what I mean?
Right.
And eventually he got really, really good at it. And the demand over there in the small town that he lived in was pretty big. So
probably
he was
the only classical bassist in the city.
Yeah, and he was playing like in cantinas and all. I mean, he was making a lot of pretty good money to the point where he started doing real estate over there. He'd buy like little house here, rent that, buy another little hut here, rent that, and all of a sudden he got more revenue and he started doing it just for fun. Anyway, we got all of his kids, my dad and all of his brothers, and then they all learned how to play, and he taught them each individually a different instrument. So they eventually made their own little group. They got better. And then my dad, because that's all he knew and he loved, he taught us that. You know what I mean? So it just kind of just trickles down because you love it, and then you start. If someone starts it because they need to, or maybe because they love it, or whatever, what have you, and then it just starts trickling down. So
then it's in your blood.
Yeah, and not to discourage anybody that wants to try it. It doesn't have to be in your blood. Right. It doesn't have to be in a generation.
You just have to understand that your frustration, I think, is valid.
Yeah.
If you're frustrated playing and you're frustrated learning, if you're older, like if I'm 31 now, if I were to start today with guitar, it's like your hands are already grown, your muscle memory is already what it is, and so it's going to be very challenging.
Your joints are going to kill you.
Your joints are going to hurt. We started when we were kids where it's like my finger.
Yeah, and you can do. I mean, you're flexible in your fingers.
Yeah, and now it's like there's this tension strength where it's like I don't have to try, right? Like I'll get tired after 6 or 7 hours, but it's like the next day I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
And then after that, it's like, all right, ready to go. Like that's actually like a recharge. It's like, oh man, I hadn't gotten a workout like that in a long time. It's like my jalon is even better than it was before because of that.
And you can stand in those boots for 8 hours on a Saturday. You know what I mean? It's bad for your back, but eventually you get used to it. You don't get tired till about the 7th or 8th hour. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So and violin too. I couldn't just imagine when I used to do it. I used to hold my hand like this, and my dad's like, "Pick up your hand," or he goes, "I'm gonna smack it." So then, eventually, you become it's the habit.
It's like this little cringe
and resting because you're tired.
And then all of a sudden, you get the strength, and it's like you have a nice 45-degree angle instrument, and you can just
smack it with the bow because it's like this, and you hit, and it hurts when you're 5 years old, and it hurts. I mean, it's gonna go up.
You're gonna get trained.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. It's like if you're gonna start,
definitely do it.
Do it. It's like jujitsu. You know, I started training when I was a kid. Like I just started going back to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specifically. It's the first time that I've been dedicated to a school. But when I was a kid, my dad is half Japanese.
Oh, nice. I did not know that. I never would have thought that.
It's a mess, bro. I'm telling you.
You're all kinds of stuff.
There are reasons why I am how I am. And it's not my fault.
You got that samurai anger, man.
No shit, bro. Because my grandmother, his mother, was born in, I think she was born in Kyoto. Her father was an engineer. And he was an engineer in South Korea. And during World War II, they lived in Korea during World War II because her mother was the daughter of a samurai. Her mother's father was a descendant son of a samurai clan, Suzuki.
And samurais are still around in the late 1800s, right?
Oh yeah. Well, they weren't. By the late 1800s, you had pretty much gotten away from the feudal system. There was still an emperor in Japan, but they had a more kind of, I would say, democratic approach to running government. They had a prime minister, right? But the thing about it is they had a standing army, and samurai were not a part of that.
They were actually bumped heads, didn't they?
Yeah, there was a bit of a civil war in Japan when samurai were kind of being phased out to being replaced by military. Mm-hmm. That stupid Tom Cruise movie is really inaccurate. Historically, it did not happen.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that movie.
Really what it was is that in Japan you had clans, right? Like tribes. And every lord, who goes up to the emperor had their own clan of samurai. And it's family that is bred to do that for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Thousands of years of family going father, son. So you end up with like a sword, a samurai sword that had been forged like 17 generations.
Oh, for sure.
To one samurai, right? So it's a big deal. They go through a bit of a revolution. It gets phased out. They become very industrialized very quickly. I don't know why we're getting into a history lesson. That's another. I
like that stuff though, man.
That's like a hobby, right? That's a hobby for me is history. And so the samurai get phased out. But the family still remain, right? So the family names, like the old family Japanese names, like Suzuki, and all these other names out there, they survive, right? And so when I was growing up, I looked like super Jap baby. I had like the long hair and I had the chinito eyes. Yeah. It was really Japanese, right? And so I always grew up I grew up with them telling me like your grandmother, her mother's father was no kidding, full-blooded samurai blood. Like, nothing, no question about it. His father was a samurai, his father. And that trickled all the way down.
Yeah.
And the samurai name is so dominant in their society that her father, when he married her mother, had to take the mother's last name, Suzuki.
Because of that.
Because of that. He had to change his name.
Makes sense.
To her name, right?
Yeah.
And so they were living in Korea when World War II happened. And, my grandfather was in the Navy, met her, had my father. My father grew up in Hawaii. And so my father trained karate in Hawaii. He got a black belt there. He trained Japanese jiu-jitsu, which is way different than Brazilian jiu-jitsu, right? It's not even the same thing.
Is it more of judo?
Brazilian jiu-jitsu is a derivative of judo.
Yeah.
The ground game is really specific to Count Maeda's judo, and Count Maeda was a 7th degree black belt in judo, right? And judo was an art that was never intended to leave Japan. That was like one of their main rules is like, you do not teach judo to anyone non-Japanese. And Count Maeda did. He went to Brazil to prize fight.
Probably got disowned.
He did. He stopped. Yeah. So he's a 7th degree black belt. He died a 7th degree black belt. He never progressed. His master disowned him. He was disavowed for teaching Brazilians judo. Even though he was calling it jiu-jitsu, which is not what it is. Jiu-jitsu is a lot more, it's effective. I used to do it when I was a kid. My dad had me enrolled from when I was about 4 years old. My dad would spar with me. Like, you're going to learn how to fight and how to protect yourself and how to take punches and hits and kicks and all this shit that I didn't really like.
Yeah, you didn't want to do that 4 years old and get smacked around.
I didn't want to do it, but he would do it. And growing up, about until I was 14, I stopped practicing like Japanese martial art and I started boxing. And that went through college, you know. So I was a fat kid too. So I was a big dude, and I was kind of chubby all the time. But I could fight. I could move my body.
Yeah.
But going back to now training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there's this natural progression, right? Getting back to the point with mariachi, it's like you have levels, and they're legitimate. Like you can't be like a blue belt or a purple belt in Jiu-Jitsu and be fake. Well, some people do shit like that.
Some people do shit like that, man.
But it's the same. It's the same thing with mariachi. It's like you can't come to me and say I'm a viola player and I'm a professional musician, mariachero, and you've only been playing for 2 years. Maybe some miraculous talent that you untapped and you're super badass now.
That happens a lot here in Phoenix. Man, like, oh, you know, I've been playing, you know, this for so long, and they build that arrogance.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I've met a couple of guys here that are like that. And here's my theory. You sound good in a group, but what can you play by yourself? Like if I were to put you in a room, you know, just by yourself, what's something you can play that most people here can't play? And not to
call you out.
Not to call you out.
Put you on the spot.
But I'm just trying to give you a little bit of humility because if you really can't impress me, then you know what I mean. And not that I'm great.
Right.
Not that I'm great, but I've seen people that are like, dang, that guy plays pretty good. And then I see, you know, somebody like Tchaikovsky, and I'm like, oh, damn, like, you know what I mean? You got nothing on this guy, you know what I mean? So people they build that arrogance, but you need to humble it down a little bit because I know the guys that are playing the really good mariachis, they don't act like that, man.
No.
You know what I mean? And they're some of the best mariachis, you know what I mean?
And most
they don't,
amiable people.
And they don't act like that.
No.
So for you to be here in Phoenix and act like if you were really that good, you'd be playing with all of those groups over there.
You'd be in California. You'd be in Texas or wherever they have like
where all the big groups are.
Yeah, you'd be playing with Los Alleros. You'd be playing with the Camperos would be knocking down your door. Right?
Yeah.
Or whoever would be calling you to go back down to Mexico.
Yeah,
right?
and that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
Right?
Right?
A lot of people don't know that my uncles started Los Gallos, Huelencho, and all the Hernandez people, not the Hernandez family, like Los Galleros and all that, and Sol de Mexico and all those. My uncles played with all those guys. They know them very, very well.
From Chapala.
Yeah.
That's where that family comes from.
From Chapala.
From Chapala, Jalisco.
And my uncles used to be in a mariachi called Chapala. I think it evolved over into California and turned into Galleros.
So it was...
And I have pictures of those guys, man.
Dang.
My uncle's like 25 years old, man, young, and he's with Mariachi Chapala right there. It's amazing, man.
Humberto Molina.
Yeah. All those guys,
from Vargas.
Mm-hmm.
See, folks, this gets deep. You have to know your history and your mariachi lineage. The same with jiu-jitsu. You have to know your lineage all the way to the grandmaster, or to a master, or to something. It's like Mariachi Chapala started in Jalisco with Jose Hernandez's father and grandfather, right? They start migrating. Where do you migrate to? California and Arizona, right? You go to both those
two
places.
States you would go to, yeah.
So where are the mainstays? Los Angeles and Tucson, and then Phoenix, right?
Eventually. Even now, Phoenix is not as big as Tucson and LA still. Man.
I know, dude. Most people go straight to Tucson. And this is what I was talking to Miguel about. It's like the migration from southern Mexico to the north, they go to Tucson. You get people that stay for a couple of years, teach, and then you get derivatives. It's like, oh, well, this guy from Jalisco taught me how to play sones. And he used to work with, Pato, Victor Cardenas, and Rigoberto Alfaro taught him, and all this stuff. And you got Pedro Rey, who used to play and teach, and his brother Crescencio, who used to play, one of the first original trumpet players in Mariachi Vargas, right? Yeah. And you get Mariachi Los Galleros. And then from that, you get Los Camperos.
Sol de Mexico.
And Sol de Mexico. And it's just, it's deep. It's a deep world, right?
And each one of those leaders is really good musician.
They're really good, and they got several generations of music behind them, and then just awesome opportunity. right? Awesome opportunity, big city, big crowd. In Los Angeles, there's parts of Los Angeles you can go, and if you don't speak English, it's not a problem.
No.
All they speak is Spanish. So you can really thrive in an area like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's some parts of Phoenix like that, where nobody speaks English. Everybody's speaking Spanish. So it was baffling to me, like, why is there not, like, such a culture? There's so much gente from Mexico living in Phoenix. They pay for mediocre to bad to pretty good. It all gets the same price, right?
Yeah.
Whatever's cheap. It's like, what's the deal?
A lot of times, too, man, it's probably how you're running the group. You know what I mean? Like, Sol de Mexico, they do a really great job at
polish
everything, man.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is just everything, those little minor details, they make them into big details.
Yes.
Hey, man, your boots are dirty, man. Clean them. You know what I mean? It's just little things like that. I'm not saying it's just that, but it's a whole bunch of things.
They all wear the same suits when they teach.
And Pepe's been doing it for God knows how long, man. 40, 50, or 40 years, you know what I mean? I don't know how old he is, and I don't want to even guess.
Speculate.
I don't even want to guess at how old he is.
You don't want to out that guy.
But the thing is, he's been doing it since when he started. I'm assuming he started. I think I have pictures of him when he was younger. He was playing with the Galleros, and Bella Rey and all those guys were in there. I think that's when he started, because I've seen videos of him where he's really young.
I think he started writing for that group when he was about 18, 19 years old. He started writing because he went to school for music.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't just go to like a traditional university music program, which is a bear. I've been through that. I didn't stick with it as a major because I'm not that talented and I'm not going to go through juries. I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm not talented enough, first of all, and then I'm going to be a music teacher, and I don't want to do that. Nothing against music teachers, but I'm like, I obviously don't have the temperament to do that.
You either love it or you don't.
Yeah, you have to love it or don't.
Yeah.
But he went to school, a music school in California that teaches you how to write show tunes for TV and Hollywood production.
And his music proves it.
Yes. So you listen to a lot of his early recordings. They sound very they sound like an opening curtain to a movie, right?
A lot of Glenn Miller.
A lot of Glenn Miller.
I mean, you can hear
a lot of influence, right? American influence into some of the mariachi music, and I get why some traditionalists view that as that's not evolution. That's I hate to say abomination because it's not. It's just something different.
It's just different.
It's different. It's a different influence. But you listen to like the Galleros recordings on YouTube, there's all that influence in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's doing that at like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah. And he started young.
young.
So now what he's doing, he's polishing everything that he's been doing for 30, 40 years, for a long time. So now he's probably the best at it, you know what I mean? Because to be a successful mariachi in the States is very difficult. And
to do it full time.
To do it full time and to be very successful and to everyone know who you are. I mean, that guy is literally the guy to go to if you want any type of advice to do it, you know what I mean? Because right now, you've got, maybe 3 groups in the States that are like, everyone knows who they are.
Top notch.
Yeah, they're top notch.
If you ask the average, other than Mexican in the United States, who is a great mariachi group, most of the Caucasian friends and family that I've come across, they know who Sol de Mexico is. Yeah. So it's like, say what you will about the music or the style or the people or whatever, they're successful, right? And when I go see them perform live, I'm not a big Sol de Mexico fan. I'll confess it right now. I'm not a huge fan. It's not that I have any of those snarky attitudes. It's just like, I'm homegrown, I'm a Cobre fan, right? Because that's just what I grew up on, right? It's like if you're going to serve me caviar and I'm like, hey, that's nice. I like steak and potatoes. That's what I grew up with.
Tacos.
I want some tacos. I'll even pour some ketchup on them. I'm a little fucking weird. But I like Cobre. When I think about going to LA, I don't think about going to go see I think about going to see the Camperos. Every time I go to Los Angeles, I'm like, we got to go see them. We're here. Why wouldn't we go see them? Yeah. Unfortunately, they're not playing at Fonda anymore.
No, it's, what's his name?
Pepe Jr.'s group, Mariachi Angeles. They're not bad either.
Man, when I first heard them, first time I ever heard them was live here when they came to the Orpheum.
Food City, yeah. The Food City.
That's time at the Orpheum.
Oh, that's right.
Then downtown, and I'm like, look at it. It's like, oh, it's Pepe's group. Yeah. I went with my sister. And I saw them, and I was like, they're probably going to play a lot of the Vargas. Dude, I'm like, these guys.
Busting it out.
Yeah, they're good, man. And, you know, some of those guys are from Tucson.
Tucson?
Yeah. And because they're well disciplined.
Yes.
And they've gone to school on how to play and how to, you know what I mean?
It's something about Tucson, man. We keep coming back to it. It's like, it's in the water.
Well, so, yeah, it's all around you, man.
Yeah.
It's everywhere you go. When I went there just to go see like I said, Cuco lives his family. And I'm like, dude, there's mariachis everywhere. And it's like, well, not because of there's mariachis, because of the Cuco. But when you like, oh, my dad's, when we went, we were at the church. And my dad's like, you know what, I need to walk out because I need to breathe and I need to go to the
So did your dad play with Cuco? Did he know him?
My dad and Cuco are like best friends, man. They were inseparable. I have pictures of Cuco that my dad gave me. They actually started the group that my dad told me to. He's like, you know what? He's like, he and Cuco started a group, Los Reyes de Jalisco, here they're in Tucson. And my dad's like, you know what, man? He's like, I'm gonna move to Phoenix, and then they had to part ways or whatever because Cuco wanted to stay there. Yeah. So and my dad and Cuco was like, well, just take the mariachi with you, man. Just take the group name with you. So my dad brought Los Reyes de Jalisco with him over here. And that's what my dad's group was. And my dad's like, you know what, I'm done, man. My dad's in his 80s. So my dad's pretty much done. He's done. He does it because he likes it. But for the most part, my dad just kind of goes and just accompanies anybody. He doesn't care. He does it because he likes it. So he gave me the group. Anyway, so he and Cuco started the group over there. And, man, they've been best friends for, dude, I'm not even kidding, man, probably like 40 years. Dang. Because my dad's been in Phoenix already for like 35, almost 40 years.
You see, it gets deeper. Yeah. That's why I like talking, man. Yeah. Talking to people about this stuff. People don't know this history.
When I went over there, man, and my dad's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick," and I was like, "Yeah, I'll go with you because I'm gonna get you a water." So we walk out there, and I saw all these old timers, and they were all my dad's and Cuco's friends. I guess it was a group that they used to play in. Mm-hmm. That Cuco and all these guys are like in their 70s, 80 years old. Yeah. And they're like, "Hey, what's up, man?" It's like they never lost touch, man. Right. They were talking to each other like they were talking yesterday or 40 years ago when they were in their same group. And they were just telling me all these stories about Cuco and them, and I'm like, this is crazy, man.
So that was tough when he passed.
Yeah.
I mean, I was here. It sucks. I couldn't go to the funeral. I felt really bad, man, because I saw the news, and I had just started my job here in Phoenix.
Oh, you couldn't leave.
I didn't have any vacation, so I wasn't eligible to take vacation for the time that I had started working. So I couldn't take vacation until literally the next week I could have taken vacation.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I just had to work. And I'm sitting here, I'm looking at all the videos on Facebook, and I'm just like, it was horrible, man, because it's so funny, the small world, because after I graduated Changos, the first group I played with was Cuco's group.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. His group sounds good, man.
Yeah, they're really good.
Well, he taught them. What did they?
He taught almost everybody in his Mariachi Herencia from the time they were in middle school level. Mm-hmm. He taught them all the way through high school. Even if you went to Sunnyside or not, if you were in his favor, he favored you. He didn't play favorites with people. It's just like if he liked you, he was going to give you everything he had. Yeah. And I remember it was very interesting because I came out of Changos and he brought me on to play Vihuela. And just random. And I'm just like, I'm out of Changos. I don't know where to go, guys. I mean, I don't know what to do. Who's looking for a vihuela player? Who's looking for a guitar player? I also play a little guitarrón. And he brought me over to his house, not even knowing me. And I played, and he's like, "So you're going to run my armonía section." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, he's a super cool guy.
I'm just he was
like as humble as he got, man.
Yeah, super really chill, cool super humble. You didn't want to piss him off, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I heard about that,
He was one of those guys,
but he was a hothead, but the thing is, he wanted straight discipline, man.
Yeah. If you showed any slack, if you showed any disrespect, he'd be like, "You're out of my group. Yeah, that's it. I'll go find another kid." He would act like that.
Yeah, I think that's what lacks here in Phoenix, man.
You're done.
Yeah, say, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" Like, you showed up like 30 minutes late. Like, this can't be happening.
They'll be like, "Who cares, man?"
Yeah, and like you said, it does happen. But if it's happening all the time, then there's a problem.
It's a problem. Yeah, it's like, damn, I overslept. I got a lot on my brain right now. Yeah. It's like shit happens. It's like, hey. It happens, okay, don't do it again. It's like, okay, well, a week later, same shit. A week later, same shit. It's like, all right, bro, either you need to stop doing what you're doing that's causing this, or I got to find somebody else. And then people get mad. They're like, well, who are you going to find? Yeah. Who are you going to get to replace me?
And that's another thing, too,
I'm
man.
the best ever.
Yeah. And there's not a lot of mariachis out here. You know what I mean? Not worthy of your time. There's tons of mariachis, but as far as worthy of your time to be like, you know what, man, you need to shape up a little bit, Right. But and then you just kind of let them go and get somebody else. You don't have that option here to just go and get somebody else.
Yeah. Because some guys come from Mexico to Phoenix to play during the summer. Yeah. Some guys come from California to play.
I never met them because I never really see them.
I got lucky to play with two violinists. One from California going to school out here, and then one was from Veracruz. that came out here for a while, and we were just talking. All of a sudden, we don't know each other, and then he starts playing like El Gustito, you know. And I was one of the few people. He told me, he's like, "You're one of the few people that even know that song here, bro." Like I was just fiddling around, and I started playing with the bass with him a little bit. And the vihuela player was kind of like, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I'm just like, oh, okay, man. Just chilling. Like, oh, wow, that's really nice. And it's like, you can play an arrangement, but it's like, do you know the style? Do you know the genre? Right? Because I'm not playing a campero arrangement. They play it in C or they play it in A. I'm not playing a cobre arrangement. He's just playing the fiddle. He's playing El Gustito. And I'm starting to play octaves with him, you know? And I'm starting to copy melody with him. And he's just like, oh, damn, dude, no one else plays like that here. What's going on? You know, it's like, this thing on? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's not easy to do, man. You have to be able to synchronize with whoever's playing with whatever they're playing.
That's the root of the music.
Yeah, and it's not easy.
Just the folk music of it. You can make it as symphonic as Sol de Mexico. You can make it as straight arrow and rigid and traditional as Cobre does. But at the end of the day, all the guys and girls need to know just the basic, where it comes from, the timing, the accents, the flavor.
Yeah.
You know? It's like someone who's never made Mexican food coming and making Mexican food. It's like,
ruining Mexican food.
Or ruining Mexican food. They put too much spice in it. It's like, it's supposed to be real spicy.
Try this new organic, what do they call
it? Chipotle hot sauce.
Vegan enchilada. Like, I don't want that shit.
Get your shit out of here.
Yeah, I want some gluten. I want
gluten,
some flour and all kinds of shit.
I want some diabetes to go with it, man.
Yeah, otherwise, get it out of my face. I don't want it.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a different take.
It's a different take.
But it's good. It's good to know all those flavors of music, because if someone says, hey, there's a song this guy's asking for a song, and you get those, man. There's people from Veracruz say, hey, man, you guys know this song? Like, I don't know this song. But one of your guys knows it.
Yeah.
Say, hey, man, I know it. Even more specifically, more importantly, a violin knows it, because a lot of it, music Veracruzana is,
right.
Either harp or violin. And if the violin says, hey, man, you know what, I know it. It's what is it called? Aguapango.
Yeah.
So then, literally, the guy that played vihuela or guitarrón, like you said, have to know that flavor of music. So if the guy that's playing the Veracruzano song, you have to be able to follow him. You know what I mean?
And not sound awful.
Yeah, and not sound awful. You have to be able to follow him.
I've seen some guys, they're like, oh, okay. Like, and it's like, oh, okay, not right. And it's like, there's a syncopation that you're not getting. And it's like, okay, you just don't know.
Yeah, you're not getting it.
You don't know what you're doing.
You're not getting it.
It's like, why are you getting paid right now? You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be condescending or exclusionary, but it's like, there's a difference. If you're a student, okay, be a student. We're all students, right? Nobody is a grandmaster of mariachi music.
No.
We're all students. But be at the level, right? If I have to be here in the sun, in my traje, working, I want you to be at an equidistant level from me, right? And from me to the next highest level, I have to be, at their equidistant level. I can't be all the way back here, and he's all the way up there. And it's like, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? It's
funny you say that, because now, back if you're playing with a whole bunch of, and even more importantly, if you're playing with a whole bunch of good mariachis, like if someone puts a group together real quick and there's a bunch of good mariachis, you're probably a whole lot better not playing your own thing, trying to be the leader. You're probably a whole lot better if you know how to follow than you do trying to lead. You know what I mean?
Ooh, someone's got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get it.
And then
see if we can get it. Okay.
I do that all the time, man. I play with a lot of guys, and they come in, and I can tell by their demeanor. And I'm like, all right, this guy's one of those guys.
Yeah.
But then when they start playing, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna follow them.
Yeah.
To make life easier for me and I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and let them have a great time.
Doesn't it kind of suck when someone wants to take lead but they're not really ready to take lead? And you get that they start messing up, and you're like, oh shit, that was a mistake.
Yeah. And you don't look at them, but
like, oh, that was okay. And then they start looking at you. It's like, you're messing me up, bro. It's like, I'm trying to follow you. You're the one who's messing things up. It's like,
and I'll follow them, man. And they're like, hey, man, you're doing a pretty good job at following me. And I've gotten better at it to where like I can do it really, really well, because I'm like, it's just easier for me to just follow somebody, not because I'm a follower, but because it's easier to make both of our lives better. Not to clash, not to bump heads with him, because this guy's obviously got some arrogance, so I'm gonna have to just accommodate myself to him, and he'll be fine, and eventually he'll humble down a little bit, because if I could just follow him, and then he'll get it, like, oh, that's cool,
or he won't,
or she won't, or him, or whatever.
Yeah, I run into that mostly here, where it's like, okay, let me try to follow how you're doing, right? And it's like, if I'm clearly better than the person playing, it's like, this is really hard to follow.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It's really bad because I'm like, I have to constantly be resetting my time. And it's like, okay. And then I'll just like, can I try to drive the ship a little bit? Can you follow me? Yeah. Because I tried a little bit your way.
It's not working.
It's not working. Can you try my way? That's when they're like, it's like, get that Fuchi face. And then I'm like, all right, whatever. Is this gig over yet? I'm still getting paid, right?
Yeah.
That's what goes on in my mind. I'm like, I'm getting paid, bro. I'm getting paid. It's like, I don't want that to be in my head.
I've been playing with guys who are like, they're all pretty good. And they're like, hey, all right, well, since we all can just follow each other, you want to play first, you play second, you play third. There's guys that think they're the shit.
Right.
And they tell me you play second. And they can't play second or the third because all they know is the first.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
That's really unfortunate.
And you have to know pretty good harmony. Not the best, but a little bit of harmony to be like, all right, hey, man, you're going to play first. Since you know the song, you play first. We'll follow you. You play second, and I'll play third.
Right.
There's some guys that can't do that, man. They don't no saben acordar. So they just play the first. That's all they know. And even then, they can't play it first because they don't know the song.
And they struggle with
it. Yeah, they're trying to follow the guy that knows it, but they can't follow because they can't play second or third.
Hopefully, in the next couple of months, we'll be able to, and this is really naive of me to even say, to even hope. I acknowledge that from the start. If you're listening in Phoenix and you think that I'm some naive, gaucho that just thinks he's going to come in and change the scene, I'm not saying that. Not saying that. Never know. Yeah. Never know. But hopefully we'll be able to make a little bit of impact here. There's enough market. There's enough people. I think that, that old saying, if you build it, they will come. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is stay consistent, man. All you got to do is show up, stay consistent, be humble, don't get greedy. If you're going to get a restaurant gig, your time and everybody's time who wants to do this is like, this is the restaurant gig. If you need to go off and chase dollars, go off and chase dollars. Just find me a replacement that's equal to you, right? This is a commitment. It's not going to be a super lucrative one, but at least during that time that you're going to get paid to be there, you're not going to be pissing and moaning in your head thinking, I'm getting paid. It's like, this is fucking fun. This is a lot of good time. And I get paid after this. Good time, man. And we get to eat. Hell yeah, man.
And drinks.
And drink. Well, we'll talk about the drinking thing, man. It's like, so that, the whole following thing, I think we'll probably end, we've been talking for an hour. Holy shit. This is awesome. We'll probably end with this thing. Is like, there was a comment on the last podcast where someone mentioned going to see Mariachi Vargas. He's been a long-time subscriber of the channel. And he was 10 years old in the 60s. He's an older fellow. And he was in Mexico and saw Mariachi Vargas play, right? And it was the first time he saw them play. And the crowd, had a list of requests. And, I don't know if it was Silvestre or Gaspar or who it was, right? Running the group at the time. But they got a song they didn't know. And this was someone that's commented on the channel and was like, well, we don't know this one. And the crowd started to boo him. And so they huddled for a second, according to this guy's story, and they started playing it. And, of course, it's fantastic, right? It's awesome. And then the guy went backstage as a kid, and he's like, how did you guys play a song that you said you don't know? Like, how do you go from I don't know something to literally a minute later playing it fantastically, right? Here's what the guy told him. He said, in this group, we have 200 years worth of musical knowledge. So one of us is bound to know it, and the rest of us follow him. Talk about humility. Talk about, like, the highest level of badassness, right? Yeah. Every one of those guys are super badass. Not one of them was too arrogant to follow somebody else on something they didn't know.
Like I said, man, sometimes you're better off just being a follower. Depends on the circumstance.
Follow along and work together. Be a team, right? Mm-hmm. All right, man. Any last words? I really want to appreciate you coming out here, speaking on the Phoenix scene, shedding some light, some perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
The Phoenix mariachi players are not so far removed from Tucson as I suspected.
Yeah, they're kind of just scattered all over the place. You know what I mean? What they need to do is come together.
Come together.
Yeah.
Maybe we can bring them all together. We get some of the old timers to see some younger guys like us, but like, dang, they're starting to sound like how we used to sound back in like 1972. They're pulling it together, man.
That was the days, man. 70s and 60s, and those guys were some of the best mariachis.
See, that's what I like. For me, like, I don't want to act like I'm going to be any group director, but we all have to focus our time and energy into learning and singing something. What is that going to be? Is it going to be the latest and greatest from, whatever it is, Is it going to be Pedro Fernandez? Is it going to be, ¿Por qué me haces llorar? Is that what we're going to invest our time and energy in? Is it going to be, in the standards, like Volver and La Negra. It's like, we should already kind of know that. That shouldn't be something we invest time in rehearsal, right? Or what are we going to do with it? Let's go back to the 60s and 70s repertoire and take out those Javier Solís tunes and take out all those old rancheras that people want to hear.
The songs never die, man.
They never die. They're real poetry in those songs that take, like, if you get a 60 or 70-year-old abuelita that shows up to a restaurant because you play all the canciones viejas, and then you get a 19 or 20-year-old chick or guy who could show up because they play all that old stuff, but every time I ask them for a modern song, they also play it. They never turn it down, right? You're going to captivate both audiences, and you're going to win. You're going to win. And so those old school guys that hear of this, like, oh, there's this new 4, 5, 6-man group who's playing all the old stuff, let's go hear it. You know, these kids think they can come in here and play old music and then bust it out.
Yeah.
You know, like, you get a modern take on Te Solté la Rienda, and you sing the shit out of it and play the harmonies really well.
That would be my advice. I think my last words of advice would be, if you're a newer generation or someone that's going to pick up a guitar, pick up a violin, surround yourself with the older generation.
Yes.
Practice as much as you want at home. Learn as much technique. That's another thing. Technique is very important. If your technique is on point, you can play anything, man. It doesn't matter what you play.
For as long as you want.
Symphony music, orchestra, mariachi, you name it. Veracruzano music. If you have the technique, you can play anything, man.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my word of advice. If you're going to pick up an instrument, or if you're a new generation upcoming mariachi, surround yourself, every once in a while, surround yourself with the older generation, because trust me, they may not play as good as you technique-wise, right, but as far as music, they're going to know a lot more than you. The knowledge. Yeah, they have the knowledge. Surround yourself with knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Carlos, thanks for coming in, man, and we'll see you guys next. Thanks. And before we depart, I want to say real quick to all the people on YouTube and podcast land, thank you so much for supporting the channel. All the comments you guys have been giving, it's been super positive, really nice. And we're going to keep doing this shit. I don't see any reason to stop doing this in Phoenix. There's plenty of people. There's plenty of venue. There's plenty of people I'd like to talk to and get perspective on mariachi music here in the Valley, in Arizona, California. And let's just keep it all positive. And
maybe come back with a group next time.
Maybe we'll come back with a group
that you formed.
That I formed, yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty chill, laid back kind of person. You see it in my videos, my vlog posts. I don't have agendas. I just like I like real, authentic shit. Yeah. And I just posted this morning. It's only in the absence of true value that price or cost become an issue.
Yeah.
Okay? I like authentic shit, I like nice shit, and I like real shit. And so we're going to try to make some real authentic shit in Phoenix.
Hopefully.
All right.
Try to.
Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you guys in the next PlayMariachi Podcast.